Hey guys, our friends over at Talency have teamed up with GearBest to host an awesome giveaway for aspiring YouTube creators featuring a laptop, microphone, 4K action camera, and a tripod. Be sure to check the link down below to learn more. PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds, PUBG or PUBG. However you want to call it, this game has taken off to become the most popular title on Steam right now. With its fast-paced gunplay and butt-clenching moments, a lot of people are moving over to PC to experience this wonderful game. Yes, the game is going to be coming to the console in the near future, but you know, everything is just better on PC, and I bet 90% of our viewers agree with us on that one. So in this video, I'm going to be creating an easy to obtain and somewhat affordable PUBG ready gaming PC and testing on all the preset quality settings to give you an accurate representation of what you're going to be getting yourself into for the money. So how about we don't waste any more time and get right into those parts for this build that I like to call the Chicken Dinner Maker. This system is based around a used/new hardware build, but don't worry, I will include new parts also in the description down below for even better performance, while be it slightly at a higher cost. Nonetheless, check the description for a link to a good, better, best build list. There will be 3 different options for you to choose from, so pretty much anyone can have a build that they want. The PC that we're going to be demonstrating today features the i5-2400, the legendary used budget CPU of choice. Why is it legendary, you might ask? Well, on the used market, you can easily obtain a full system for around $100 or even less with this quad-core CPU in it. And in this build, this system wasn't even the bottleneck for our computer. More on that later. In my case, I ended up picking the motherboard and the CPU, the i5-2400, separately on eBay for a total of $100. If you don't have any other spare parts lying around, I highly suggest checking local listings like Craigslist or even Facebook garage sale ads for a Dell Optiplex 790 system or any other equivalent system featuring this CPU. The Dells are more popular. And if you're even extra lucky, try to find one that comes with a hard drive with a decent amount of storage and 8GB of RAM at under $100 or even $150. That's a decent price still, but just know you will still need to buy a graphics card. But before I keep going, I can hear the people right now typing in those comment sections, I can't find used hardware in my area, I can't do this, I want new parts. And my response is, I bet you really aren't even looking that hard. There are some areas that, yes, you may be straight out of luck and you have no way to get used hardware, and in that point I would say save and buy new parts, and those suggestions are down below. But honestly guys, get creative. Look at local businesses that might be upgrading their systems. A lot of these i5-2400 systems are being sold for really cheap. And just look around, be a little bit creative, because those chicken dinners don't come easily all the time, guys. Now once you have pieced together a system with at least 8GB of RAM, a good enough size hard drive, and the CPU, you're ready to add the graphics card. Pretty much any power supply that these pre-builts will come with will be okay as long as it's functional. As for the graphics card, you do have a few options. I ended up going with a GTX 1050 2GB full-size card. This worked for me because I was just setting up a test bench for my test system and I didn't actually put it in a physical case. If you ended up with a full-size desktop, then awesome, this card will work perfectly, just pick this one up and you'll be fine. But if you were someone who ended up with a slim tower system, which is more likely than not, you will have to pay a slight premium for a low-profile version of the 1050. Or you could just pull a Toasty Bros and create a cardboard box case. You might think I'm joking, but I'm serious if you're that desperate. It is definitely a possibility. From parts hunting for a few months, the total of this build turned out to be roughly $280. But is it capable of playing PUBG at 60 FPS 1080p? Well, let's look at those tests, shall we? Alright, so as I mentioned, we're going to be testing the game from the high preset all the way down to the very low preset to get a good idea of performance numbers for this game at variable quality settings. Keep in mind, playing this game almost requires a constant 60 FPS experience to survive, so most players are willing to sacrifice on visual quality for this. It's all about surviving and getting those wins. First, at high settings, we got a really good glimpse into what this PC can do. We averaged roughly around 40 to 50 FPS in most cases, but had a ton of micro stuttering. Crazy thing is, as I mentioned at the beginning of this video, it does appear that our 1050 is the bottleneck of this system and not the i5. So in theory, you could add an even better GPU to the setup, let's say a 1050 Ti, and experience even better performance. Drop a like and comment down below for a suggestion of a GPU that you want me to try out next. Onto medium settings, we're getting even better experience, averaging around the same FPS, but a much more fluid gameplay experience, less micro stuttering. But we still did not hit that 60 FPS mark that we're aiming for. Yes, it is playable, but if you want to win, you're still going to want a more fluid experience than this. Down to low settings we go. And at low settings is pretty much the way you want it to be. Low settings really doesn't look that bad in this game, and the performance has improved again as well, averaging roughly around 60s this time. While there are some slight stutters when you first land into the battlefield, things start to smooth out and even hit 70s at some point. This is probably the setting I would stay at to compensate performance and visual quality. Maybe drop some of those settings down to very low. A mixture would create a very great playable experience. But just for fun, of course, let's drop things to very low and see how it performs. On very low settings, we get, well, what we kind of expected. A not so pretty picture, but so many more frames. I don't see this hindering my gameplay at all, actually running around at very low settings, but I would have honestly preferred staying at low for better visual fidelity much rather than staying at this setting. Regardless, you're constantly over 70 FPS, into the 80s sometimes, and experiencing gameplay the way this game should be played. Silky smooth. So my chicken dinner PC build appears to be pretty awesome at under $300. As I mentioned, there are some other options for newer hardware as well if it's very hard for you to find the i5 2400, or if you want just a better upgrade path, I would suggest the Ryzen 3 1200, but note you'll be paying a good $100 to $150 more for better upgradability, but it's something to definitely consider because the i5 2400 is locked into a much older architecture. You're very limited to what you can upgrade with. But that about wraps things up here, guys. If you like this video, leave a like down below and comment what you think. If you want us to do more videos based around certain games like this, certain builds dedicated to popular titles, leave a comment down below and we definitely check those out. I think this is a new perspective that if someone makes a build and focuses it around a really popular title on Steam that many people are probably coming from console over to PC to play, will make it a very interesting video series. But let me know. We can try to make budget builds for specific games that are popular, and I think that could turn out really well for us and viewers out there. And if you haven't already, follow us on Twitter and join our Discord community for more content from the Toasty Bros, and I hope to see you all in the next one, guys. Peace out.